Diane and Denmark here. Rah, rah, rah. Today we are talking about sentimental items, band t-shirts, heirloom jewellery and all those random items in between. So may the force be with us and let's get started. So we've talked about kitchens, we have talked about wardrobes and closets. I've also shown you a super simple routine for dealing with all those papers and documents that are coming in. Sentimental stuff, of course, we've got that kind of emotional bond or emotional tie to it. But don't worry, help is at hand. I've shown you all this month that you just need two things to be successful. Number one, we need an easy declutter process, something that's doable and something that we can be consistent with moving forward. And also that we need to make it a positive experience. Just that very fact of adding in a wee bit of hygge, making it pleasant, making it cozy, it's really going to change things for us, because all too often we've had those kind of negative feelings coming up with our decluttering. I know I have. And just by changing that mindset, it's going to be really easy for us to finally let go of the clutter and just keep the things that are really, really precious to us. Now, I'll just go through the basics again of how to set up a decluttering session, and then I'll tell you about how I have the problem that I do with decluttering and how I've managed to change it for my family. Set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes. That way you know that you're only going to be working on it for a set amount of time, and when the timer goes off, you can walk away or you can take a break and do another session. I would also suggest, especially with emotional stuff, that you take, one bag or one box of stuff, take it to an area, move out of the area where it's cluttered, take it to an area where you feel calm, somewhere that you feel kind of cozy and relaxed, so you've not got the clutter everywhere around you. And as I always say, add in a wee bit of hygge. Maybe you can listen to a podcast while you're decluttering, light a couple of candles, LED candles, get a diffuser going. Just make it a pleasant experience for yourself, because that's all going to reinforce the idea that you want to work on your decluttering, and you know that it's going to help you in the end. So we really need to make it a positive experience. And you're just going to take your items one by one and decide, is it something that I want to keep? Is it something that I can let go of, pass it on to somebody else? Or is it something that needs to go into the recycling or into the trash? A lot of questions are going to come up while you're decluttering your sentimental stuff. Often you'll find an item and you'll think, why do I want to hold on to it? And it could be that you have guilt about the item. Maybe it cost a lot of money. Perhaps it belonged to a family member and you don't actually like the item, but you're just holding on to it because, or you think you should be holding on to it. Don't worry about the decluttering process here. It's going to probably take a lot longer than decluttering, say, things in the kitchen. And I also want to point out here, when you see things on Pinterest or on YouTube or on blogs, remember that a lot of the things that you're seeing are made as content. It's clickbait, it's entertainment, or maybe they're trying to sell you something. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You go at your pace. What I'm showing you here is that it is a process. It may take some time, it may not be going as fast as you like, but we're just moving forward, one foot in front of the other. So just take one item at a time. And I've got lots of decluttering videos. Of course, I can't go into everything in the space of this short video, but I've got a whole series of decluttering videos where you see me decluttering around the house, also sentimental items. I think we did a series called Why on Earth Am I Holding On to This Item? And it was stuff that I had from my childhood, from family members, things that I had just picked up along the way, moving from different countries. I've worked in several countries. And it's just that thought process. Often it's going to take us just a wee bit longer. And as you go through your items, I also want you to think about, what are you going to do with these things? It's not enough just to say, I want to hold on to it. We also need to think about, am I going to store it? Am I going to display it? Am I going to use it? And just for fun, I'll go through some of the items that I have chosen to keep. Family heirlooms like my granny's crystals and my granny's engagement ring. I like to wear those. I always feel like I'm channeling my granny when I've got them on. Band t-shirts, concert t-shirts. I use those as sleepwear or when I'm out running. We have a lot of beautiful handmade items from my husband's side of the family, from my dearly departed father-in-law, my dearly departed mother-in-law, and you'll see a lot of those objects around our home because we like to display them. The hand crocheted and hand knitted things, we use them on the Christmas table. So we're trying to use everything that we have and enjoy it and display it. Now, my clutter problem stems back to when I was a child. My dad, bless him, he would hold on to every single last thing. Now, my dad, of course, different generation. He grew up during the war years. And back then, you know, you held on to everything. You didn't know if you were going to be able to, if you would use it again or need it again. And we need to realise that we cannot keep on holding on to everything. We don't need to hold on to everything. If you've had that mindset of, oh, if only you had more storage, if only you had a bigger apartment, if only you had a bigger house, we need to step back and realise here that it's not the storage of things, it's making the decisions on what we want to keep. We really have to realise that we can't keep everything, and we also have to help our kids with that. I've brought this box up from our basement. This is my memorabilia box, and basically it's my life, all 53 years of it, in one box. Now, we're not talking about official documents here, not talking about passports or birth certificates. Those are all safely stored. These are just random papers that I've collected since I was a child in Scotland. I've got school stuff, my first job working in Edinburgh. I'm still in touch with my two bosses from Edinburgh and Luxembourg. I've got stuff from working at the Court of Justice in Luxembourg, things from moving here to Denmark 20 years ago, all my music memorabilia, and also random objects. And I have this box because this means something to me. When you're decluttering, make sure you don't declutter somebody else's stuff, because what is important to one person may look very different to somebody else. You know, my family would look in this box and think, what a load of junk. But it's my junk, it's stuff that I want to hold on to. With your kids, and I'll tell you a bit about what's in the box in a minute. With your kids, I would suggest that you give them their own box, some kind of, you know, you can call it their treasure trove or their, I don't know, their keepsake box, and just let them know that anything that they really want to hold on to, anything that they've got that real connection, you know, and it may not be important to you, they can put that in a box, in this box, and that'll be off limits, that nobody else is allowed to declutter it. Nobody else is allowed to touch it. It's their kind of safe place for their stuff. It's very important. Also, just by giving them a space to have their own, they will know that, you know, when the box can't close, it's the time to go through things and make a decision, what they want to keep and what they can let go of. And it's just giving them that idea of the space available and letting them know, you know, because it is a process, you can't keep everything. My dad, bless him, would hold on to everything, and I've learned over the years, I can't keep everything, but I can keep some things. And I'll tell you what's in this box, and I won't show you too many papers because of course it's got personal information on it. All my concert tickets, all the concerts that I've ever been to. I also have a lot of concert badges, all my music badges. And with those, I've just put them on an old notice board. I'll show you a picture of it here. And that way I can see them and appreciate them, but I'm keeping them in one place and keeping them out the way of everybody else. I've got letters. I used to correspond with all the bands that I loved. I used to write a fanzine, a music fanzine, so I've got copies of letters. And I should tell you here a wee funny story, because I did not have a tidy bedroom when I was a child. And then, you know, I went off to work in Luxembourg and I left home. And my dad was actually tidying up in my stuff. Yeah, he shouldn't mean tidying up in my stuff. But he found a pile of correspondence, threw it out thinking it was junk, and it was my letters, you know. I had a personal letter from Morrissey of the Smiths, and that ended up going out with the rubbish. So give your kids somewhere safe to have their stuff. Correspondence with my granny, all the letters that my granny used to send me when I was living in Luxembourg. I have thank you notes from people in Luxembourg, memorabilia from my years of working at the European Court. Also here's a case in point, something that looks like junk to somebody else. This is my letter folder, and you know when you see the president signing executive orders and you know he's got this is the one that I presented every day, and you know it's kind of broken now, but something that I want to hold on to, so I've still got that. I've got articles that I have written, speeches that I've given. Oh, and now onto the more random things at the front. Often we end up with these random items, and I like the idea of having things in a box because often if we have a paper file, that doesn't really work. I've got things from concerts, I've got set lists, I've got Heaven 17 concert, this is Martin Ware's water bottle, which I managed to grab. A drumstick from a Klaxons concert. I've got my Winter Swimming Championship awards. And just a lot of bits and bobs. But by having it here in one place, I know where it is, I can put the lid on it, I can go and revisit it from time to time, take a wee walk down memory lane. But when it starts getting full, that's the time that I know, okay, it's time to declutter something. Does it really mean something to me, or is it time to let go? And remember that you don't have to do it all in one day. It's a process here where we've got a little routine going for it. That's why I like the Fly Lady system, because we're constantly going round the zones, our sentimental stuff, and we're just doing it one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Hope I gave you a wee bit Hygge inspiration today to deal with your sentimental items. I don't normally hold on to birthday cards, but this one is definitely going back into my memorabilia box. Remember and check out the playlist. Dawn the Minimal Mum has got together a whole lot of YouTubers, and we're all helping you to move towards a clutter-free January. Remember, just do it at your own pace. We'll get there. So on that note, all I've got left to say is live long and prosper. May the Danish Hygge and force be with us. And I'll see you very soon. And here's a wee rah 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 to send you off on your merry way. Are you ready? Rah rah rah. Bye for now.